The Nuno DSP Nano Cortex was a piece of gear that a lot of guitarists were extremely excited about when it first launched. Now, if you want to check out a video of us talking about this when it first came out and all of its in-depth features, then you can click above my head. You can check out the initial launch video. But what we are here today to talk about is something that I think a lot of guitarists have been looking forward to, and that is its first major update. Now, this is the 2.0 update, and in all honesty, it's a bit of a game changer when it does come to the Nano Cortex. Now, I'm going to go into all of the kind of main changes and all the new additions that they have added to it, and they will be split up into chapters below. So if you do want to check out a specific feature, then do check that out, and don't forget to subscribe as well while you're there. But I think let's just dive in and check out all the new goodies. So to kind of just like round up what has actually been added to the Nano Cortex is there are 47 brand new effects put into it, as well as a bit of a revised UI. Now you will see, I'm going to put an overlay of the actual like phone app that I'm going to be using. I'm using that all just from my phone today. It's really easy to get to grips with, and certainly easy to obviously just kind of switch and change out effects. Now, if you're not keen on a phone UI and you more prefer kind of screens and whatnot, then the Quad Cortex might be the one for you. But Nano Cortex, really easy to get your head around. So let's check out some of those effects to start out with. You would have heard just right at the start there, I have used one of the new delays, one of the new reverbs, and one of the new modulations in there, which is the Dream Chorus, the Dual Reverse Delay, and the Cave Reverb, which are all featured in the Quad Cortex as well, which was giving me those like really lush big tones there. Sounds absolutely lush there. Let's maybe go back to just a nice clean tone. I was on that edge 80s sort of sound there as well, which this is. Let all those trills just ring out there. Now this is already a preset that was already within the initial Nano Cortex here, but what people were kind of like crying out for, I think, with the Nano Cortex was just the ability to actually chop and change your actual chain. Because what it was originally, it was the pitch, or no, sorry, a noise gate, then the pitch, then your amp, then your IR, then you had just one modulation, one delay, and one reverb. But now what they have included, and I'll just show you within the actual app here as well, is there's now a massive selection of actual reverbs, delays, there's now compressors, there's now EQs in there as well. And there is also, which one thing that I think a lot of people were really excited about was actually the ability to add an overdrive in there as well. Now you see there is actually like quite a lot to choose from, including a lot of really cool bass sounds as well. So this is obviously really like optimized for bassists too. But for example, let's just keep it on the classic one here, which is the Green 808. No guess as to what that is. maybe turn off those absolutely massive trails from this here. But of course, that was the kind of Tube Screamery sort of vibe there as well. But there is also stuff like fuzzes and whatnot. Let me make sure this is not going to go absolutely crazy. It is going to go absolutely crazy, which you can adjust obviously all the parameters just within the app here as well. Yeah, we're getting real hot levels with that guy there. So there's a ton of new drives to pick from which are there, which I think is really cool because it means that, you know, you're not just relying on the amps for sound. So for example, if you do want like, you know, your first number one switch here, because you've got obviously two sounds to select from when you press that there, your first one can be like your bass amp, not your bass amp, your B-A-S-E amp, with, you know, just a nice clean signal. Then you press it again, that adds in a distortion there as well, which I think is a really cool feature. Now, additional features that they have added as well, we have some of these wahs and filters in here, which, you know, if you want to add an expression pedal onto here, you're able to use all those wahs, but then also you've got all these kind of cool filters and stuff as well. With that, with a bunch of delay on it, is quite funny. Which is just loads of fun. You know, you can kind of like mess around with some stuff. You can find a bunch of sounds that you're really, really keen on as well. Obviously, there are now some EQs in there as well, and you can actually put them pre or post your chain depending on what you need it for. And also some compressors in there as well, which, you know, are always a nice addition, especially for some clean tones and whatnot. So obviously with the ability now for you to change the pre sort of slots there, initially they were just completely locked to the gate and the pitch. Now you'll see just on the UI there that is still pitch, but you can completely change that to whatever you want. And in a really kind of smart move, they've now just made the input gate just its own thing. So you're not like taking up like an essential slot for like a sound or anything like that, which I just think is a really, really smart move. So if we're looking into some of the post effects here as well, we have heard a little bit of them, but we now have things like a phaser, we have like a flanger, also a couple of extra choruses in there as well, which loads to choose from there, just depending on what you need it for. And of course, I think that again, that's just the really cool thing about this, is they've added much more sounds that people can really experiment with and find exactly what you need. Now, there are a couple of extra little bits in here as well, and it comes with the cab bypass, which kind of just makes the Nano Cortex just that little bit more flexible as well. Because it does mean if you have got a cab, you know, you turn up to a gig and they've got a cab, you can obviously just use the capture that is in here that acts as your amp, just go through that, and you know, you're running everything just from the Nano Cortex into the actual cabinet there as well, which I think is really, really smart and really cool to do. But let's maybe check out some of those sounds with like a bit of a higher gain tone, shall we? So that was just a very, very quick look into the brand new 2.0 update for the Nano Cortex. Again, I think this is just such a cool thing that has been updated with this piece of gear, because I think they've really kind of listened to like folks' feedback, and certainly from like a little bit of time since it's released, this will have been used on tours, this would have been used in gigs and studios and everything like that, and just all the features that have been added are super usable for musicians. Have you had a chance to check this out yet if you've got a Nano Cortex? Is this update something that's kind of pushed you over the edge to maybe check one of these out? Let us know down in the comments, and while you're there, if you have liked the video at all, give us a like and a subscribe. But until next time, I've been Kieran, and I've just been checking out the brand new 2.0 update for the Neural DSP Nano Cortex. Have a great day.